Hey, welcome back to another episode of John's Crypto Therapy. On today's episode, we're going to look at Bitcoin. This is the big mover. Everybody wants to know, when is our coin starting to pump? Is this going to be the cycle that we're going to see a big pump, or are we surely going to see that downward movement? Before we do get started, guys, this is not financial advice. This is just educational purposes. And also, happy Easter to all those that do celebrate. So all over the world, happy Easter, guys. Today is going to be a special video, always a special video when we look at price action. So right here, we drew out this beautiful upwards channel, and this channel was giving us a confirmation that maybe we could see some key levels of support. Am I out of the theory that this cannot be a level of support? Absolutely not. The reasons why behind this is each time we did have price breaking below, we did have this beautiful wick rejection showing us that this was just a selling motion for us to pick up trades to the upside. Okay, so we were just getting buyers to come into it for a cheaper price. Because we've seen this happen twice, and this is a valid trend line. As we could see, there was a lot of structure here showing us the price did find some respect. So can this be the same price action before we see a lot of movement to the upside once again? So this can happen. But if this candle does close like this, then we could slowly switch our mindset to maybe we could see a retest and pulling all the way lower. Okay, if this does happen, this is going to be dramatic. We will see a lot of sell-offs, and there's going to be a lot of altcoins that are going to be depleted and go to the all-time lows. For this purpose, we want to still be strong in our mentality, just because when we're looking at this chart, we're still making higher highs and higher lows. Let's take a look at this. This is the structure of defining to yourself, is this a true trend, right? You want to find out a true trend. You want to see movements, and you want to see prices acting in a certain way. Right here, as we can see, even though price did come down, it did not break below the previous structural low. That is still showing me that the bias right now, even in this upwards channel, is still an uptrend. In order for us to slowly look for sells and all of that fun stuff, and you want a high probability, what you want to do is take away the first structural value that it needs to take out before it gets a little bit lower. So what is going to be the better strategy if you are looking to sell your Bitcoins or whatnot? And when we do see that retest, we could see price going a little bit lower. If you are trying to take a trade like this, make sure you got patterns. Make sure whatever trader you are, define to yourself the key rules that you're looking for before you look to sell. Right here, this is the structure that we're looking at. Do I believe price can go up? Absolutely, guys. There is a lot of formations before we could see that. There's a lot of fake outs. There's a lot of movement. Bitcoin is super volatile. As much as we want to see that, it is super volatile. This is going to play out. We want to see this level broken. If this key level is not broken, we could still look for a pullback here, and maybe we could get into a cheaper price before prices actually move to the upside. If you are scared of trading and you don't know what to do, best thing to do, hold off on your trading abilities. Wait for the break above structure and towards the channel, because this channel is like a current. All you want to do is be inside of it in order for us to move up. So you want to get back into it, okay? So the best thing to do, wait for this candle close, see how this red bearish candle closes. If it does close towards the upside, we could see a wick rejection and push back up. The cool thing is there's always a trade to be found everywhere you go. The reasons why I say that, so right here, there was a lot of trades and a lot of structures to be placed. If you did get into this trade and look for the breakout strategy, or you look for your patterns at a lower time frame, there was a trade to be happening here. So let's take a look at the 4-hour real quick, and I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. So right here, this was the line that we were talking about. Let me delete this, and this is the real cool thing. If you put your patterns with your higher time frame analysis, you guys can get into tremendous amount of profit, especially into your trading ability. So right here on the higher time frame, we did see this could be a symmetrical triangle of some shape, and you guys could see it does make some kind of symmetrical triangle. This symmetrical triangle would have been really good because you could have gotten into a breakout. If you were cautious, what you would have done and not take a trade until this trend line is broken. This trend line, if you look carefully, this is the same trend line we were leading on the higher time frame. Right here, this is the breakout of that trend line. We did have a close below, and we did have that formation that I teach a lot of my students. This formation happens, we could look for that key level of short. If you want to take a look at it, this is a perfect trade, okay, guys? The other thing is, if I take away that trend line and I say to myself, you know what, maybe this was a head and shoulders. Absolutely. There's a lot of patterns inside of patterns that you need to justify and find out before you start to trade it, because guys, this is the rules, right? The rules are, when we're looking for a head and shoulders, we just want to make sure it's kind of equal to the left and the right shoulder, and the head is not surpassed by any of the shoulders, which it is not. So because of that rule, it was just simplicity when you understood that this was the key level that we wanted to break. We did not want to take a trade, guys. Technically, we did not want to take a trade inside this little move. No, we wanted to wait until the bigger trend line on the higher time frame is broken. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's go back to the daily, and this is the trend line I wanted to talk to you guys about. Let's make it into a 2 right there. So this is the trend line we were talking about. So I'm going to go back to the 4 hour. Hopefully this is making sense. So this is exactly the trend line we wanted to see broken. Why? Because if it did not get broken, this could have been a level of support and we would have seen price going back up. But because we're smart traders, we could have actually gone into a trade right here of this structure. And if we did get into that trade as a professional trader, it was going to go down here. First, there's 2 ways of defining this. First one, take the neck and the head, go from here and use that as my take profit. Once we do this, we could kind of see that, guess what? It is roughly in the same bubble. And that means this should have been your take profit 3. So if you did not put that as your take profit 3 and you just go lower, sure, you could do that. But you're gambling at that point. You want to follow your key rules before you take any type of trades. The other way we could have done it is if you are into your pivots and you understand how to use your pivot points. Let's take a look at this like this. Okay, let's put on our pivots right here. So our pivots were showing us a real cool thing. Okay, to all those that don't know what pivots are just daily calculations, calculates the pivots, the zones that we're trying to take your trades off of. Okay, just trying to make it simple for you guys. So just for that purpose, take a look at this and how cool this is. Okay, so our pivot is going to start with 2 things. Okay, so what we need to do is look for a daily pivot right here. This is a P. This is going to be our daily pivot, right? So what it basically means, if price breaks to the upside, we're kind of having a bias to the upside. If price breaks to the downside, we're having a bias to the downside. So these are type of trades that we would start to look into or start to trade off of. Okay, so this is our P. This is our daily pivot. We just wanted to break down or up to have a bias in the market. Simple as it is. Okay, the other thing is if price goes to R1, that's going to be resistance. Okay, that means that even though price breaks the pivot, it has a chance of retesting R1 and coming all the way back down. And it could do the same thing. If it goes to S1, this is going to be support. We will find that key level support. It could go lower, guys, absolutely, but this is levels of support. That means price could reject and go back up, retest the back end of this trend line, and then guess what? We can have another wave to the downside. That could be a tremendous trade, but that's just for another story. What I wanted to show you was why this was such a perfect trade, and this is a trade that I take because this is textbook. So the textbook reasons behind this, we had a symmetrical triangle, we had a beautiful head and shoulders. Yes, I did not want this level to be broken. Technically, why? I wanted to see a lot of altcoins get a pump, and I wanted to see, you know, a lot of my bags get even more. But guess what? As a trader, we just get ready for the worst case scenario. So we know price broke this beautiful level of structure. Right here, we know it got broken. Once this got broken, what do? This trend line was our key level of support. Right away, if you are basing your knowledge off of pivot points, we know we broke below the daily pivot. The daily pivot means our bias or our idea is to look to sell. Isn't it a coincidence after the right shoulder got made, we had a breakout right underneath the pivot? That is showing us a huge move to the downside. And as you guys can see, where are we finding that key level of support? Right back into our S1. That is the real cool thing about trading, guys. This is absolutely fantastic. If you are looking to trade like this is very easy. My students are going to be learning these pivot points. They're going to be learning more, but just simple price action can help you all the way around. And there's so much more to just learning how to trade. Now, if I go back to the daily value and the value of the bigger picture, what I want you to understand is we're still bullish. As much as everybody wants to say we might not be, or we're changing ideas, we need to still understand we're still bullish. Reasons why, as much as this candle did not close on the daily, if this candle does close like the other candles, the big body, and then we can have a big wick like this is actually showing me a lot of bullish mentality, just like here. And of course, like this. So we could see a lot of wick rejections before we do see price going up. As much as we've seen here, there was a lot of fake out. This fake out can absolutely transition here. And then guess what? We need to stay calm, because if price does break back in, we look for that key confirmation of a retest. And guess what? That is a profitable move right there. And that's what we're looking for, especially in Bitcoin. Once we do get this, there's going to be such a huge all coins switch, and we're going to get a huge pump, and a lot of people are going to be happy. And that's the beautiful thing about crypto. I do believe crypto can change a lot of people's lives. Even if you learn how to trade, this is the way to go, and analyze yourself in the bigger time frame. So once again, we went to the higher time frame, went to the lower time frame, we executed a trade. This falsely breakout could be a false breakout, but doesn't matter to us. We took profit, we're good to go, and we're looking for structural value S1 to be broken. If it does get broken, we could look for S2. But before that, we need to also understand this is our key level of support, and take a look at how coincidence this is as well. S2 is technically right on the level that I said if it does get broken, we're going to see a huge move to the downside. Because it's not broken yet, we still have great value before. Guess what? We can see price actually rebound on S1 and push back up. If that does happen, this is such a great play, and no one's going to get faked out because you're watching this video and you're understanding that the Bitcoin cycle is still here to continue. Hopefully you enjoy this video. If you do like this, please guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I love making videos like this. I am going to be making more videos about different coins as well. I just want to make something special, especially because it's Easter and I don't want you guys to be searching in the crypto market. I wanted to give you guys the special news that we're still good. Let's just wait for this level, roughly around the 37,189 level. If it's broken, then guess what? We could surely look for those selling positions. Until, if you are selling, take your profits before that level, because this right here, this little pocket could be 100% a fake out before we see price moving to the upside. Guys, Bitcoin is super volatile. You need to understand these levels, okay? When you're looking everywhere, look at how cool this is. Bitcoin does make these tremendous moves. If we do get a big move to the downside, does not mean we look to sell. We need the candle to be closed. If the candle closes, then we can say, okay, it's printed and we're ready to go. So once again, guys, we went to the daily, went to the 4 hour, made that trade. That little move right here, there was a beautiful trade, a beautiful profitable move right in this little bubble. A lot of people did not see it. This is a trade that I personally took, so I wanted to just come back here and show you guys why it's important to wait for a retest confirmation before you take a trade. Every place has a trade. Make sure you understand your rules for a buy and a sell, and simple as that. Thank you guys so much. Once again, I appreciate everyone for coming in and watching this video. Take it easy, and John out. Peace.